Benoit St. Denis versus Paddy Pimblett is coming up pretty soon, and I want to go through it just a little bit, see each fighter does in some of their recent fights. I think this fight could be one-sided on both sided. So Paddy Pimblett, he could win one-sided, or BSD, I think he could win one-sided, or it could be competitive. This fight could go any way. Benoit St. Denis is the slight favorite on like the betting odds, and from what I've seen online and stuff, a lot of people think Benoit St. Denis is gonna pull it off. I also was thinking a few days ago that it's kind of a mismatch, but looking back at it, looking at some of the fights, thinking about the fight a bit deeper, it's a lot closer than I initially thought. I don't think this really shows much, I don't think any of this really matters. We all know the way Paddy fights, we all know the way BSD fights. BSD is super basic, like extremely basic. Paddy is I think he's a lot better. I think Paddy overall is the better fighter. BSD is the better wrestler. I think Paddy is more durable. Paddy is got the better striking. He's also got really good grappling. He hasn't showed his grappling against a good grappler, like an elite grappler like Charles Oliveira, for example, or even a Gamma or an Arman Sarukian. But he's a good grappler. So I'm gonna go through it. Look at some bits of fights. The best fights I could find for like the stylistic matchups, which aren't really the best, because they haven't really fought anyone close. The closest you can find is Dan Hooker because of the height, and he kind of fights tall and long. Then Moicano, there's a moment in this fight that I want to highlight, and then Paddy's last fight. I don't think anyone else really pressures Paddy that much in his fights. So the Dan Hooker fight, Benoit does the same thing. Every single fight, he does the exact same thing, goes in with the same game plan. He does body kicks, he tries to get a takedown, and then he tries to submit you, mainly submit you. That's pretty much his game plan every single fight. Super basic, super simple. Dan Hooker throws kicks, BSD defends them relatively well. I mean, that's not well. He didn't defend that kick well. One arm up, the other one pointing out. That's not really good defense for a kick. That was a kind of a weak shot. The only reason he could do that is because he's against the fence. And then he kind of has this it was never going to submit him, but if Paddy's in this position, who knows? You know, Paddy is good at that stuff. He got King Green or Bobby Green with something like that. Benoit gets up and he pressures. Here we go again. Him throwing a kick at the kind of the wrong distance. Paddy doesn't seem to do that. His distance management seems to be pretty good. He catches the kick. He tries to take him down. I don't know if he doesn't get it. And then he tries to grab his leg, doesn't work. And then Dan he falls. That's not good body language at all. Throwing some punches, that's good. This is not a good look. This is really not a good look. I think that one might have hurt him a little bit. And Paddy does throw them kicks. So looking at this, it makes you think Paddy's going to go out there, bounce on the back foot a little bit. Maybe even pressure. Paddy is not scared to throw with anyone. I don't think there's anyone in the world where Paddy's scared to throw or gonna hesitate. That was a good left from Benoit, but then he goes straight for a takedown again. He only wants a takedown against everyone he fights. That was bad. That was really bad defense. He's on the back foot. He's not really good at pressuring. That might be crazy to say for some people, but if your only way to pressure is a body kick or to shoot, when your defense is bad, you don't parry punches, you don't move your head, you don't bounce in and out, you don't feint, you don't do anything different, that's not good. That's really not good. Like throwing wide hooks and gets countered and then she tries to shoot like a clinch kind of thing. And like Dan Hooker's not a good grappler. Dan Hooker's you know what Paddy said, I'm not going to repeat it.
Dan Hooker couldn't grapple off his ma. I don't know what I mean.
He doesn't take, he gets up, Like, Benoit's struggling here. Struggling. He gets him down here. That was nice. But he's looking for a submission. Dan Hooker gets up. Terrible accuracy on his punches. Like, this is not good. Watching this fight, or just seeing this, I don't even have to watch the fight. Throwing huge punches and leaping, getting hit with a bunch of stuff. Like, watching this makes me think Paddy's gonna destroy him. Because Paddy, and then at the end of the fight, to finish, he does the same trip. Kind of judo throw. Oh no. Dan tries to take him down, it looks like, and then it doesn't work. And then he does ground and pound, looks for submissions, and gets an arm triangle. Not a good performance. Dan Hooker normally doesn't do anything with anyone. And Dan Hooker's got you looking like that. Not a good look. From this fight, which was Benoit's last fight, I'm going to go through their resumes to see who's beat the better opponents. Like when they fought them. I'm not going to go through the whole resume, but just, the last 3 fights, for example. Now I want to show this moment in the Moicano fight. Moicano is on the feet, he's not anything like Paddy, but he is a kind of jiu-jitsu guy. So this is Benoit fighting someone who can really grapple. Throws his left hand to the body. Then he throws a body kick, which lands. It does land, but then it gets caught. Moicano gets a body lock. And gets taken down. And then gets his brains beaten for the rest of the round. Gets his back taken. And just gets destroyed. Moicano goes for a submission first, then starts doing real damage. And that's like a 10-7 round, you could say. If Paddy is as good as a grappler as Moicano, then this fight should be easy. If they are similar grappling or wrestling, then it's going to be closer. I think Paddy cannot strike Saint Denis from looking at the Dan Hooker fight. And I also think I don't know if the grappling is similar or Paddy's levels above. I don't really know, but I think Saint Denis is the better wrestler. Moicano kind of made him look like he can't grapple. So, to kind of prove that he doesn't move his head or have good defense, see if I can like show bits of it, like moments like this, like plod, super big step, heavy step forwards, not even with punches, just heavy, super heavy steps. And Moicano's just moving around. This is kind of a mismatch. I don't like looking at this. It's kind of crazy to see Saint Denis as a favorite. This is kind of a steal for anyone who bets, in my opinion. Throwing big overhands, slow overhands. That was good, but Paddy, I don't think is really gonna get in a position like that, like trying to throw a kick, because Moicano doesn't really kick. He has good leg kicks, but he's not really like he can see the punches coming from a mile away. Move around. Saint Denis making it look like Moicano has some fucking gone type of full defense, I don't think he got hurt though. And then he shoots and he doesn't get him down. And then around is they stop the fight. This, even though he won a Dan Hooker fight, not good performance. For beating Dan Hooker, not a good performance. And then gets destroyed by Moicano, a good grappler, and made Moicano look really good defensively on the feet. I'm not saying Moicano. I think Moicano is one of the underrated guys at lightweight. I don't think Moicano is just a whitewash for really anyone, unless you're, top of the top of the division. I think even, this is gonna sound a bit crazy, but I think even like Moicano versus Max Holloway, on the feet, it's a mismatch. But on the ground, like, Moicano beats him on the ground, so Moicano's good. Now I want to go to a bit of Justin Gaethje, the Justin fight. I'm not gonna show much of this because I don't think I need to, because again, Justin Gaethje is much better than Saint Denis will probably ever be, and is much better defensively. He actually moves his head. He doesn't just plod forwards. He's not slow and ploddy, and He has a bit of spring in his feet. The only thing, if BSD can get Paddy in situations like this, I don't even think it's as bad as some people might think, because Saint Denis doesn't move his head. If you are backing somebody up, but you don't have good defense behind it, you're gonna get cooked. You're going to get cooked. Unless you're fighting some guy who's scared of you, which Paddy isn't scared of anyone, and this fight proved it. You're going to get beat the fuck up by anyone who is not scared of you. I do think Saint Denis has some power in his hands, but so does Justin Gaethje. And, you know, Paddy wasn't, you know, his legs weren't ever going. He got hit with body shots, getting cracked. So I think Paddy can take the shots. He just has to make sure he's not getting taken down and kind of put in that grueling grappling fight. And I even think in a grueling grappling fight, I think Paddy can win. I don't think this fight should be that close from watching their fights. Maybe there's something I'm not seeing that someone could mention to me in the comments, or I don't know, make their own video, or tell me about a video that breaks it down a different way. But I don't see it being that competitive. You know, he throws stuff like that if you dip your head, which Saint Denis is slow, and when he shoots, he's dipping his head into stuff like that. And then Paddy's throwing hard, so if Saint Denis still there after he throws something like that, he's there to throw. Paddy does get hit with a body shot right in the sternum, which I don't even think Justin Gaethje meant to do that. He just meant to throw something up the middle. Because if someone throws a 1-2 and you throw an uppercut, it can be a counter. If you lean out the way and throw an uppercut, it can be a counter. But in situations like this, Paddy doesn't look that strong. I know Gaethje was a wrestler. He was more a defensive wrestler, and this position he uses on a lot of his opponents. He used it in the Ilya fight. He's really good in this position, doing little short shots. He'll do the knee to the body, and it's just like a grueling position to be in. Another moment, Paddy gets like stuff like that. I don't think BSD does stuff like that. He's super basic. Shot selection is the same. He's got the same game plan every single fight. He is quite possibly the most basic fighter in the top 10. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's from what I see. He wants to take you down. He doesn't even throw punches that much. He wants to throw body kicks, mainly body kicks. I haven't seen him throw much at anything else. He mainly throws body kicks. If Paddy's catching him, that's a problem, because then he can take him down. He can catch his kick, throw it to the side, grab a body lock, take him down. He can do so much. There's so many options for Paddy, but for someone like BSD, he doesn't do any other options, so he doesn't really have any. Unless he pulls some shit out the bag of boxes, which I don't think he has a bag of boxes.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm kind of retarded.
Then I don't think he's gonna really be competitive unless he goes out there, pushes forwards with some quick combinations, which he can't really throw quick combinations because he's slow. I don't really see him winning. I just do not see it. Again, nothing is promised in fighting. Anything can happen. But I am picking Paddy to win this fight by I don't know how he'll finish him. Paddy only has one knockout. I'll go over the resumes now. Paddy has how many fights does Paddy have? 27 professional fights versus 20. That's not a big difference, but it adds to it. UFC experience matters a bit more. He has 12 fights, and Paddy doesn't have as much UFC fights, but it's still similar. Saint Denis has took a lot of damage in this fight. He got knocked out pretty bad in this fight. He got stunned a little bit in this fight. The Dariush fight didn't take no damage. Dan Hooker fight, he didn't look good. I think he got hit to the body. BSD's good, but he's super basic. He's the definition of I have a style. Paddy also has a style, but he's a bit more unique on the feet specifically. Because Paddy, he would prefer on the feet, because I don't think he thinks BSD is good on the feet, which I also don't. But resume, let's see Paddy's resume now. Paddy's resume isn't as good in terms of wins. I think Rufy kind of carries his resume. I think Paddy would also be a Dan Hooker. A Dariush may be a bit tougher, but I think he would also beat Dariush. Rufy, that'd be a bit of a tough one. He's outmatched on the feet. I think he's outmatched quite bad on the feet. But on the ground, I think he would beat Rufi. I think he would submit him quite quick, like quite easily. Especially this version of Rufi. I think he would. This version of Rufi this wasn't even that long ago. So Rufi's probably quite the same. But BSD's resume is better. These fights, he didn't really take damage. The biggest damage he took was the Jared Gordon fight, which was a long time ago. And Justin, he got his ass whooped. Not as bad as some people think. If it wasn't for certain moments, like Gaethje had moments early. Other than moments in that fight, he was winning or it was competitive. So Paddy hasn't taken as much damage in his career, like his UFC career specifically. He just hasn't beaten as good opponents. But the prediction is I could see Paddy finishing him kind of any way he wants. I could see a TKO. I could see a submission. Probably, is this a 5-round fight or is this it's a co-main. It's a co-main on the corner card. I'm also going to do a video looking at this fight. 3 5-minute rounds. Okay, so it is 3 rounds. I think that would favor BSD. He has more time to stay fresh, but it's 3 rounds. I think Paddy's going to win. I can honestly see a knockout. I could see a TKO. I could see a finish. I could see a decision. I don't think it will be a decision because they both are finishes. Well, Paddy not as much, but I could see Paddy finish round 2. I think the first round will be a bit close. I think there'll be moments where BSD's pushing him back. Maybe he gets a takedown or 2. Maybe it's looking like, oh, BSD's implementing his style and this might look bad for Paddy, but Paddy's also landed some shots as BSD's coming in. Maybe at the start, Paddy gets clipped with something, like BSD shoots, doesn't get the takedown, and then separates in and throws some shots. Paddy gets clipped with something maybe, or I think early on, BSD's gonna do good, and then as the fight goes on, Paddy will build into it, realize, okay, he's slow, he's got one style, and he really is just fighting that way. He's not doing anything different from his prior fights. And I think Paddy will probably get a submission. I think a submission round 1 or round 2. That's what I'm going to predict. But I just wanted to talk about this for a little bit, and that's all.